Well, speaking of things that nobody understands, am I correct in the statement that I've heard it reported, but not confirmed by anybody, hopefully not, that Ric Flair is training to actually wrestle again? I'm not talking about just training. I've seen the footage with Jay Lethal a couple of times. I'm talking about actually going to do this in front of people again.
Dave Meltzer's reporting, and Dave's typically been right about Ric Flair stuff throughout the years for one reason or another. He's reporting that Ric Flair is planning on wrestling again. And the rumor is that it's going to be Ric Flair and FTR versus the Rock and Roll Express and someone else.
I've seen the footage. If it wasn't for Flair's health issues that he had that were documented, that he was almost dead, and they've done documentaries, and so it's not like I'm spilling secrets on his medical records. Fine. Lawler is going to be 73 this year. He still wrestles. And actually, he still has the same match he always has. It's Lawler. He can do it, right? However, he still uncorks the drop kick on occasion. And he actually died. But Ric Flair can't have a Jerry Lawler match and it get over, because Lawler's unique. Flair is going to be compared in everybody's minds to the Flair of the 70s, 80s, and 90s, even 2000s maybe. And no, that worries me. He's 73 this year, or will be. It's he just turned, right? End of February. But I mean, he had serious surgeries done and shit, right? And obviously FTR would like to team with Ric Flair, who wouldn't? It's a wrestler or a wrestling fan. And obviously the Rock and Roll Express are still going. Ricky's amazing, and Hoot, I think he mentioned this might be his last year. They're doing a tour, with the Rock and Roll, and then Ricky may concentrate on wrestling with his son. But, again, Ricky Morton wasn't near death in a hospital, and he's several years younger than Rick. The point is, I saw the footage, and if that was just some 73-year-old guy working with Jay Lethal, that would be the most goddamn amazing thing ever, and you probably should sell tickets to that. Because it looked good for a 73-year-old guy and for even a 73-year-old wrestler. But you can still tell that they're taking it easy. And, Rick's taking a couple of bumps, which I, don't know whether I'd recommend. But it's not like he's performing like he once did or can or should be able to. And doesn't that, combined with the health issues that everybody knows that he's had, do people want to see him get in the ring and do those things, or will they be squirming and wincing like they used to when Cactus was beloved and would take bumps that should kill him, and people got worried about him instead of being entertained by him? What do you think?
I think the question of who wants to see it is interesting. I think the question of who will promote it is another interesting thing. Ric Flair had his retirement match, and then he came out of retirement and did a few other things with TNA and that Hulk Hogan tour of Australia, whatever. But even the last few years he had in the ring, it was getting uncomfortable. For me, for someone who grew up loving Ric Flair, I kind of didn't want to see him wrestle anymore. And that was then. That was, 15 years ago or something. And now he's going to come out of retirement and he's going to wrestle. The question, like I said, who's going to promote this? Is it going to be in AAA, or is it going to be on some independent show in North Carolina? Who's going to promote this? And the second thing is, who wants to see it? Even the most diehard Ric Flair fan. Do you want to see him in the ring right now?
Well, and that's the thing. We're not saying who wants to sit, like nobody wants to see Ric Flair and the Rock and Roll.
No, that's not what I'm saying.
Exactly. Sometimes a lot of people out there, not our people, not the people, but some people don't get. So I want to drive this home. We're not saying nobody wants to see these people. We're saying it might be uncomfortable, especially watching Ric Flair wrestle, given his health history. And I mean, I've said before, bless Heyman, he's almost my age. He's still younger than me, folks. Remember that. And bless him, because he still wants to travel around the world and do this shit. And as the guys get in their 60s or whatever, I mean, there's cases like Billy Gunn that's just defying biological science, almost 60.
Or purchasing biological science, however that works.
Oh, come on. And Nick Bockwinkel, to go back a couple of generations, was in his mid-50s and was as good as anybody in the business today. So I'm proud for them that they're in shape or want to do it or have the drive or whatever. But when you get in your 60s and 70s, except maybe once, if you've had no health concern, major surgeries I'm not talking about injuries, I'm talking about bad health. As you get when you get older. If you haven't had that and you're still in shape that you can go out and have a match every once in a while as an exhibition, that's something that can be promoted. And, and Ricky and Robert have done pretty well with their last run over the last couple of years. They've probably made more money than they did in 1986. But neither one of them have been on death's door with some horrible fucking illness.
And obviously you have to run in a place with no athletic commission if you're doing this.
Well, yeah, and also that's the thing is at some point, even if you're still in good shape for your age and you still can, go through some of the things and have an exhibition of some kind. Thez did it in Japan when he was 74. They made a big deal out of that. And he ended up going home early because his artificial hip popped out. Lou Thez. And that's when he said, I shouldn't do this anymore.
And he was in better shape than Flair was.
Yes, because Thez, to my knowledge, was never majorly ill a day in his life until, right before the end. So that's why and if Rick just wants to do this with Jay Lethal to work out and stay in shape and have a little fun, and I would trust Lethal with my body before almost anybody else, then that's one thing. And, when they send the videos out, some people are going to say, oh, he looks great for his age and he can still do it. And other people are going to say, oh, I wish you wouldn't take that slam, even if he's setting him down easy.
And here's the other thing. If something happens and you're the promoter, how do you defend yourself? You didn't know that putting a man of this age in the ring, something bad could happen?
When his spleen explodes?
Whatever it is. I mean, Ric Flair may want to die in the ring, but the person who promotes that show may not have an easy life after that point.
Well, and again, also, the law of diminishing returns. I loved managing and wrestling and bumping and having the performance, the whole 9 yards. And right now, I am physically capable of dropping a better elbow drop than probably, as people have seen on video, probably still to this day than 85% of the people in the wrestling business. But you know what? When I land, the form will be perfect on the way up and the way down. When I land, I won't potato the guy that I'm dropping the elbow on, but any number of 3 or 4 things in my body could pop out in the wrong place. And that's why I ain't going to drop any more elbows at all, because it's not worth it. You're having a little fun doing what you used to do for 10 minutes, and then you fucking either go to the doctor or go to have surgery, or you just hurt and sore for a month. It's not worth it.
There was one funny comment I saw, because one of the listeners, I'm going through the Drive-Thru tweets right now, one of the listeners sent this in. So it has a quote from Meltzer saying, the rumor has it, Ric Flair and FTR against the Rock and Roll Express and somebody. And someone replied, I don't know who Roll Express is, but it would be cool to see Dwayne Johnson back in the ring.
So it's The Rock and Roll Express and somebody. That will be a rip snorter there, a Donnybrook, a stem winder, if you will. I just don't want him to get hurt. I don't know what else to say. And I know it's a work. It's not like Muhammad Ali and Larry Holmes at the end, but it's worse in that he's 30-something years older than Muhammad Ali was at the end. So I hope he don't get hurt. I guess we'll keep an eye on to see when that's announced. And, but if Rick is training again, Brian, I mean, he was always a beast in training and doing the Stairmaster for an hour before his workout every day. And no matter how much or how little sleep he got or whatever, he was always in the gym. But, Flair also, a lot of people don't realize this. Flair was never the guy to eat a bunch of junk food. Flair was always healthy and took care of his body, and he started the day off with a healthy breakfast, Brian. Even if he had not been to bed the night before, he still started the day off with a healthy breakfast. And you can too, ladies and gentlemen, with our friends at Magic Spoon. Brian, you start the day off with a healthy breakfast.
I do. Every day.
Every day you do. Man, you extol the virtues of it to me when we're not recording. You talk about your favorite flavors of the Magic Spoon. The Magic Spoon, of course, ladies and gentlemen, is the incredible cereal that's sweeping the nation. And actually, I shouldn't say that. It tastes better than floor sweepings. It's covering the nation with deliciousness. That's what it's doing, because Magic Spoon is the sugar and junk-filled cereal that you loved when you were a kid without the sugar and the junk. 0 grams of sugar, 13 to 14 grams of protein, and only 4 net grams of carbs in each serving. Now, however, beware the honey nut flavor. They've added 1 gram of sugar. Only 140 calories a serving. Keto-friendly, gluten-free, grain-free, soy-free, and low-carb. That's Magic Spoon all over. And right now, folks, you can build your own box out of the available flavors like cocoa, fruity, frosted, peanut butter, cookies and cream, maple waffle, blueberry, cinnamon, plus the newly reformulated honey nut flavor. And you love that honey nut. I'm waiting for them to get the raspberry peanut butter souffle flavor that I like so much. But anyway, right now, folks, if you go to magicspoon.com/Jim and use the promo code Jim at checkout, you will save $5 off your custom bundle of cereal packed with goodness, picked by you, and backed with a 100% happiness guarantee. If you don't like it for any reason, they will refund your money. They'll bring it to you in a sack. It'll all be in pennies. And they'll say, fuck you, you deserve this, but they'll give you your money back.
It's not how it works.
Remember, it's not?
No.
Do they write a check these days?
This is not how it works in any way.
I'm just wondering. Anyway, remember, folks, get your next delicious bowl of guilt-free cereal. You do not have to feel guilty when you eat this. At magicspoon.com/Jim and use the code Jim to save $5 off and a lot of guilt. Do not feel guilty. Eat Magic Spoon. That way you can commit any heinous crime, any offense.
No.
You can be mean to your spouse.
No.
You can steal things from your neighbor.
Don't do that.
You have a bowl of this cereal and you will feel no guilt. It's magic.
You will feel guilt for things that you do that you are guilty of, but you won't feel guilt about what you're putting into your body because it'll be delicious and nutritious and healthy and Magic Spoon.
But just don't steal things from your neighbors.
Don't steal anything from anybody. Let's stay on the straight and narrow.
You don't want to feel guilty.
On the up and up.
So eat Magic Spoon.
That's right.
And keep yourself straight.
On the up and up.